Oh shit. Oh, fuck. We've just dug our way back into the studio.
Oh, fucking hell.
Sake.
Is there really no way out of here?
Oh, me and those goddamn key cards.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Fuck.
Well,
Send help, everyone.
Is asbestos we've got?
Probably.
Oh, fuck. Well,
good lord. Well,
spatula is not a good gigging tool, I must admit.
no. Seeing as we're here, shall we just do a podcast then?
Might as well.
If we must. Yeah, we're stuck in here anyway, aren't we?
That was a long dig.
Till we eat each other.
Yeah.
Let's go. Hello and welcome to See If It Sticks, the podcast where we take your problems and we solve them, especially when we're stuck in a room for the rest of eternity. I'm Ross.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Dom.
And we are back. We
are
have returned.
back.
We have returneth.
We have.
That was interesting, wasn't it?
Yes. We, in an attempt to dig our way out, we decided to use tools which were readily available, and yet mind you, they say that when people try to find their way through wilderness, there's like a bias towards one side.
And they always come around in a circle.
And you always start to go around in a circle. I can't remember if it happens to be, I believe it happens to, I think it's, I'm going to hedge my bet and go on the right-hand side. So the reason being is that if you approach a tree and there's a tree right in front of you, you have to make a decision to go whether to walk on the left or the right hand side of that tree to pass it.
And people always walk on the same.
Which will put you slightly off, and people tend to choose the same side. Yeah, and I'm sure it's on the right hand side, but it might be the left. It's one of those two. One of those two sides.
It's
not the top or bottom.
Sides, yes.
Yeah. So that is that. So we might as well just get on with the podcast, and we're still obviously getting communications in, yet no one seems to have sent for help yet.
No, nobody seems to care. I mean, put out a nice appeal for our help.
Yes.
It's half-assed, I'd say, but
yeah. I mean, with regards to the appeal, I mean, like we've even been getting we could see the information which is being fed to DCI Darren Hollister.
Yeah. Because we have hacked his emails.
Yes.
What with him being dead now.
Well, yes. Steve Wynn was just letting him know. He says, DCI Hollister, I sighted Dan entering Candy Girls nightclub in London on the Saturday night of 11th of March 2017 at 11:58 p.m. wearing stilettos and a long pink glittery dress and a wig. Yeah, that does sound about right. He had two others either side of him, but I didn't get a good look. But I'm sure they're Dom and Ross. One had a beard, and I sighted Ross 2 hours later. Necking a girl behind the club. Drinking women now, Ross.
What's necking? Is necking where you're like kissing their neck?
No, when you like neck a pint.
Well, yeah, but I thought like necking in the making out.
No, I think necking can also be.
You were drinking liquidized woman.
Yes, out of a blender.
Yes.
Whoa.
Behind the club, and I remember this. He remembers it very clearly because that was the one whose bollocks were swinging like pendulums from her very short skirt. That was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was probably me and Dom making out. But that happens a lot, more than you'd expect.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah.
Now that we're stuck in this room, it's going to be one big Dom and Ross fuckfest.
Excellent. Well, at least I'll have masturbation material.
Yes.
Going on from there, we've got a little bit more.
Yeah.
I had a selection of Dom plaints this week regarding you humming over the top of us talking the other day. 2 people mentioned to me. I'm not going to name names.
Was it you?
No.
And me?
No. 2 people have mentioned to me. That,
who was it?
I'm not going to name names.
Are you going to tell me now?
No, I'm not going to.
So one of them was Maddie. Yeah.
Yeah. No. 4 people complained in that case. If you're going to count me.
Yeah.
But both
were you
times,
bored or something while we were talking?
I don't know. I can't remember.
But it was annoying in the room. But when I listened back to the podcast, it is almost unlistenable because you are so loudly over the top of me and Ross. So we are going to instigate a all-over humming ban.
No humming.
with the exception of the introduction of.
I was going to say, how do we intro without a hum?
Yes, we're going to flat out just ban humming on the podcast.
Well, it doesn't seem like fun anymore. I'm not sure if I want to carry on.
No.
What have we got here? Jamie Linney. See, the thing is, there's been mass appeals for our return.
Yeah.
And no one seems to have contacted the relevant authorities. Jamie Linney says, please come back to us, boys. Missing you loads. So you just taken time to record out my theme tune. We had it. I had it on that floppy disk.
You left it in the hole?
I left it in the goddamn hole.
Fuck.
Filled it in now.
Too late. Yeah.
Bollocks.
Same as on a floppy disk.
Do you know what? that hole is just really annoying me. I knew we should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
That left turn at Albuquerque. So weirdly, just to sort of on a tangent, you know the whole left turn at Albuquerque thing is like a trope. Like we have a similar thing in my family.
Go on.
But it's my grandma, right? So whenever you ask my grandma where you're going to go, it's a long-standing family like joke. It's Catford and turn right.
Right.
So anywhere in London, anywhere in Britain, Catford and turn right. Because she lived in Catford for most of her life. So yeah, it's just a little slice of Alexander family life.
I'm not sure Looney Tunes are gonna take that.
Yeah,
and,
wish we
run
shouldn't
with it.
turn right at Catford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diamond Jack Palmer says, all right, lads, where the fuck have you been?
Diamond Jack.
Here he comes, running over the hill. Oh, wait, no, apparently I'm not allowed to do things anymore.
No humming. Jamie Linney's taking a couple of weeks out for his swim training because he's had some new ink.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get in the pool with that because it all comes off.
Especially if it's played up with marker.
He showed us a picture of it. We won't put it up on the screen. But, I suppose
very
we're
nice.
supposed to go show the camera.
Yeah. Very nice.
Okay.
Old school, Dan, old school.
It's had some ink.
Yes, and I said that I did email using the last 2% of my battery. I messaged him back. I said that we're digging a hole. He said that wasn't very supportive of our disappearance. In fact, he seemed to be happy about it.
Him and Laura and I here were plotting to take over the podcast.
That's what he suggests.
Is that the case? Is that the case? A putsch from within our ranks. A coup.
Yeah, he said maybe we should consider replacing him.
Replacing can be replaced, can he?
Well, we could look into it, but the person who would would gather the intelligence on new candidates would be.
Yeah,
we don't have time to do that.
No. And one last thing.
We're getting dumb again.
We've got yes.
Another complaint about humming.
No, this one's about his stench from a listener.
All right.
From listener another. No, Dom, you smell fantastic.
From Handor.
Yeah.
Handor.
Yeah. No, this one is from Darren Hollister himself.
Oh, God.
And we've got a little bit more of Darren coming up on the news on Monday. But this one, he asked a very simple question. Basically, he sent us this article about a man who bumped his head in the pool. He bumped his head on the left-hand side, got a severe concussion, went home, slept for 5 days, woke up, and could all of a sudden play piano.
Really?
Yes, and Darren's question is, if you could bump your head and wake up with any talent, what would it be?
I think to flawlessly play an instrument like that guy.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. Yeah. I would love to play piano.
To be able to play
that
bass.
takes away a hell of a lot of time and practice.
Yeah.
To be able to play bass would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like that
Can any
too.
bassist play a bass?
Yeah. We all gave up on guitar, didn't we?
See, I don't know if it'd work with like the thing is with the piano is that it's a very like logical way that like the piano keys are set out, and you know you've got the octaves and you've got the semitones there, and it works. It really it works very nicely.
Time signature wise, that's all in the brain, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. But like he was saying in the video, which is sort of too long to air on the podcast, but he was saying that he kind of like the black and white keys just all of a sudden sort of like were like little squares, and almost just he just knew when to hit where.
Like Guitar Hero.
I suppose so, yeah.
It's coming down
but
the line, flashing as it
he
comes
does
to the
say that the downside was that but the sort of the explanation they believe is that when you have like a brain trauma, you get increased levels of serotonin, which kind of can
start to repair the brain,
neurons and things like that. And if you get a lot of serotonin activity in like the creative centers of your brain, that's how these kind of things are supposed to possibly happen. But he was saying that sometimes if he couldn't play piano or didn't play piano, it felt like it was all building up in his head, and like it needed to come out. He had to play piano. He was like had a new compulsion.
That's weird.
But he plays very masterfully. But I agree, like piano, because I don't think that would translate to drums so well.
You don't think?
Well, I mean,
that's another logical thing, though, isn't it?
But that's
time signatures. It's all maths.
I think the thing is, well, yeah, but like, there's no notes. Well, there are notes. There are musical notes. You can play drum to notes, but like, like notes make sense because certain notes work together. I don't know if it work with drums because when I play drums, you just sort of like, what you learn is what to hit when and
how.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if it would work with drums because you see these people all the time that wake up, be able to speak different languages, and
that's pretty cool as well.
That would be quite handy.
Yeah.
There
was, I think I saw some guy woke up and he'd never been to China in his life, never even hung around with many Chinese people, but could speak perfect Mandarin or something ridiculous like that.
That's a really complicated language.
That's a very complicated language.
Samwise says back spatula.
Oh, I'm scratching my back with a spatula. Yeah.
Yes, the spatula which we use at this office to make food.
Yes.
We just dug a hole with it.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
And it was over the shirt.
Oh,
it wasn't under the shirt.
Okay.
It wasn't touching my skin.
No, I was looking forward to making food with it. I was thinking it was going to taste like pork scratchings.
Probably.
Which brings us on to our problem of the day, doesn't it?
Yes. All right, there we go.
It's full of smooth transitions recently, Dan.
Yeah, these segues. Right.
I hit my head a few weeks ago.
and now
he can perfectly segue
some people can play piano, some people learn languages. I've just gained the ability to transition.
About time.
Oh, wow. What are you going to call yourself?
The Tran...
We have a problem here.
We do have a problem.
We have more problems than one. This is from Lardy Basto.
I think that's a fake name.
I think it might be a fake name. If not, he's very unfortunate.
If it's worse than my name. By the way, got a little story about my name.
Okay.
Did
you get called Huare again?
Yeah, I was reading a website the other day. I don't know if you guys have ever looked into matched betting.
No,
what is that?
Well, matched betting essentially is that when you place a bet at the bookies, if I place a bet with you now and we say that the podcast is going to be 45 minutes long exactly, right?
Yeah.
I say it's going to be 45 minutes, so I back that it's going to be 45 minutes. You saying that it's not going to be 45 minutes is what's called a lay, right? It's a lay bet. That you're saying it's not going to be that. When you go to most bookmakers, the bookmaker places the lay bet, but it's sort of like an unspoken thing. You're going there to back it. This team is going to win. This team is going to win, and they're doing the other thing.
Yeah.
So
anything but that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, most bookies you go and place a back bet. Now, what happens with matched betting is you go onto like a betting website or whatever, and one of these things, you deposit £5 and you get £20 worth of free bets, right? So you go on there, place a £5 qualifying bet with your own money, say team A to win, right? And then what you do is you find matches on the website's called betting exchanges, where you can go on there and place a lay bet, which is that it won't happen. Not the other thing, not that Team B will win, but you bet that Team A won't win.
Yeah.
So what you do is you match the odds, hence the name, and you figure out, basically, if you're going to bet £5 on...
So you're betting against other people's bets?
Yes, sort of, yeah. So basically what happens is that you bet £5 that Team A is going to win, say, and then you go onto a betting exchange and bet £5 that Team A is not going to win. So then what you do is on one of the websites you win, on the other website you lose. They cancel each other out. So you win as much as you lose. So you win.
Do you always win as much as you lose? I thought the house always had like...
always.
Yeah.
Right? Well, because you're doing it on 2 completely different websites.
Yeah.
Right, so net, you've won nothing and lost nothing, but you've just qualified for your £20 worth of free bets. Then you use those free bets to bet on something, or you could match it again and bet on something with incredibly high odds, but match it, but offset the odds a little bit so that you might win 20 quid or something. So then you've got £20 that you can take out. But while I was looking around...
Is that legal?
Yeah. While I was looking around on these match betting websites, it suggested that there's other ways to make money. These are sort of guarantees. Like, even though you have to like deposit like a few hundred quid. Like, it looks bad that you're losing a few hundred quid on one website, but on another one you might be winning that 300 quid plus 20, 30 pounds more each time. So as long as you have that sort of float there and you're kind of happy with that. I haven't been quite happy enough to make the jump yet, but I was just sort of reading it out of interest, and they suggest going on to some of these like bingo websites and getting similar things because the odds are kind of in your favor. There's like a 60% sort of return on it. So basically saying you could go on there, let's say one of the examples, you deposit £10, you get £40 to play with, buy shitloads of bingo sheets, and because obviously all these things betting all has sort of odds, you'll get like a 60% return. So if you spend this £40 on betting on bingo, you're probably going to get around about like £34 back. But because only £10 of that was your own money, you're up like 14 kind of quid.
But with a lot of those websites, you can't cash out the winnings.
Yes, but then there's ways around that. But
okay.
This is what I was reading. So I thought I'd give this a go because one of these websites gave you £5 of free bets just for signing up.
Yep.
I'm not going to name the website because I don't want to give them any plugging on this podcast. But I went to sign up, and it asked me to enter a username. So I input my standard username on websites such as this, Dan Hoare, one word, and it told me that told me that expletives are not allowed to be used in usernames. So I thought, well, here's my opportunity to get some free shit. So I loaded up their free chat and was like, your incredibly insulting website has just told me that I'm not allowed to use an expletive in my username, and what I had to put in was Dan Hoare, my name, which isn't even spelt Hoare. And they tried to fucking palm me off and say that it was because I'd used both of my names and it gives away too much account information if I put both my names in. So I sent them a screenshot where I changed it to Bingo Hoare and it still was telling me that I can't use profanities in my username. Can you believe that? Can you fucking believe it?
Yeah, I can.
It's not even spelt similar though, is it?
I know,
No.
but if some idiot was to spell it, that might be a way they might spell it randomly.
Like football fuck, like FAAK or something.
Football fuck! You
Fuck,
football fuck!
But this is so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Like, my cousins and my aunt, their surname's Money. And for ages on Facebook, they weren't allowed to have the surname Money on there because they think it's a fake name.
Well, they think they were some kind of gangster,
Money!
or some kind of rapper or something.
Cash Money.
Cash Money. What if your first name was Cash?
Exactly.
You would name your kid Cash if the last name was Money.
Cash
Yes.
Money.
Yeah. So I mean, fortunately, I haven't been kicked off of Facebook for my name yet. But
It's coming.
fuck you, bingo website.
Football fuck! Right,
Yeah, problem.
problem, yeah, this is the thing. It's from Lardy Basto. This all came out of this guy's
Yes,
name.
yeah.
Lardy Basto.
Which is clearly fake.
And I'm assuming he's missed out on R after the A in Basto. I think possibly he wanted to be Lardy Basto. Lardy Basto.
But it's like saying, "Oh, you bastard."
All
It's
right,
like
maybe.
a northern way of saying.
But he's from Planet Thanet.
Oh.
So he's
It all seems weirder with you holding a spoon. No.
Sorry. This is my spoon now.
he's from Thanet, otherwise known as Planet Thanet, because you do have to go in and out of the atmosphere to reach it. And he starts quite charmingly, "Evening, Spunk Bubbles."
Interestingly, that was the username which they did allow me to have.
Listen to you long enough to know that I will regret these wasted hours on my deathbed unless I get involved. Yes, do what he's done. Get involved.
Be like Lardy Basto. Be like the cream of human society.
Where can they get involved?
A man who opens his emails. "Evening, Spunk Bubbles."
Be like Lardy Basto, Diamond Jack Palmer.
Oh, fucking hell.
How can they get involved, Dom?
They can get involved. They can get involved by going to our website and sending an email like Lardy Basto to flingit@stickitpod.com. Don't worry, all the details will be at the end of the show. So he would regret not asking us a question, if not a problem, on his deathbed if he didn't get involved, because he's a big fan by the sounds of
Are we sure
things.
it's a he? Is
Is
there a gender implied?
No, I'm assuming it's a guy.
You just assume his gender.
I've just assumed gender. Oh my god! Fucking take me to the kangaroo court of the internet. Right. So ... When vegetarians take over the world, do pigs come extinct, or do we put them in zoos? Cows give us milk. Sheep give us wool. Goats give us cheese. Pigs give us nothing except meat.
But vegans don't eat any of those other things either.
Vegetarians, do they still consume cheese?
Some will, yeah, and wool. Obviously.
To be honest, some fucking vegetarians eat fish, and I'm pretty sure
they're pescatarians.
Pretty sure that's a fucking meat.
It is a meat.
What's the point exactly of not eating some meats but eating fish?
I just think
good for you,
I think it's more of a diet thing,
right,
as opposed to like a moral objection. Because some people become vegetarians due to just wanting to. Meat disagrees with them. My mum's a vegetarian, for instance, because meat disagrees with her. But she's at Christmas she'll have a bit of meat.
Sophie on the group chat with her strong opinion says, "Fuck vegans, I hate them."
Whoa!
Straight in there. Don't fuck about, mate.
The opinions of Sophie do not represent the views of See If It Sticks.
No.
We tolerate some vegetarians.
I got into a big argument with vegans on a Facebook page.
Let me finish the email.
Go on, finish it, go on.
They wouldn't survive in the wild. Wild boar do. Okay, but who wants a pig on their land? Solve it, mighty peeps.
I'd quite like a pet pig. Me and the missus have spoken about potentially having a pet pig when we get our own place.
A little micro pig or a...
No, a normal pig.
Full-on size pig.
A normal pig.
They're very intelligent pigs.
I hear they're very intelligent, but
they're more intelligent
I'm not entirely
than
sure you know how big they are and how much they eat.
You know how big a proper full-on pig grows to?
I've got one up the road to us. Our dog really likes it, so we think it'd get on well with it.
You realise how much they eat?
Well,
and if you don't feed it enough, it will eat your dog.
It might do us a favour.
But also, you could get rid of bodies easily.
They go through bone like butter.
You just have to clean the teeth out.
You've got to take the teeth out first.
Yeah.
Sam Wise says nearly every part of a pig is used, and he sent us a link.
Oh.
Francis Peterson says, my grandma used to have a pig. It got huge, walked on a lead.
Really?
Her kids got bullied.
Was that the end of that?
Yeah.
Ah, thanks for that, Sam and Cess. What's the link?
I can't click on it from here for some reason. But Sam Wise says skin, safety gloves, cosmetic surgery, collagen, energy bars, collagen, low-fat butter, chewing gum, X-ray film, drug capsules, bread, flour improver made from hair. The skin is also used for tat. Oh, hang on, it says see more.
I'm glad it's X-ray film.
Oh my god, he's just copied and pasted this.
I'm glad it's X-ray film and not X-rated film.
I was about to say, what?
What is it?
Backdoor Porkers 5. The oinkening.
He says their skin's used for
corkscrew
tattoos.
booties.
Oh god.
Maybe I should work as like a porn film.
Well, these are weird fucking porn films you're working on here.
Have a look on read.co.uk and see if that's one of their sections.
Yeah.
The job that everybody
Adult
wanted.
entertainment script writer.
He goes on.
Oh.
It's very long. Look at it.
Oh my shit.
He goes on to say that... oh my shit.
Go on.
You're right, Dan. Sound like you're misfiring.
So instead of back door, it'd be back bacon. back bacon babes.
Oh, God.
Streaky lovers.
I was going with streaky next. Streaky in the park.
Go on.
You ready? You sure? You haven't got another one creeping up on you?
Oh, well, if I do, I'll
give
tell you.
Give us a couple of minutes.
Yeah. He says their skin is used for tattoo practice and ballistic gelatin.
Oh yeah, of course.
Used to simulate human flesh for testing bullets.
Oh, right, okay.
Internal organs, pet food, tambourine skins, bladder, heart valves, surgery.
Oh, that's true. Pig heart.
Pig heart boy.
Surgical anticoagulants for stomach mucus, insulin, pancreas. And then their bones are used for refining cadmium, cheap wine corks.
Refining cadmium?
Yeah. Stabilizing propellant in bullet making, injecting inkjet paper, concrete, match heads, bone china, train brakes, yogurt, fabric softener, beer, wine, ice cream, and their fat is used for biodiesel, soap, shampoos, crayons. Their blood is used for cigarette filters and colouring in some ham, fish food, aluminium ingot, mould, and toothpaste. So fuck me.
They can do all that.
What we should be asking ourselves really is, what do we do if the pigs go extinct?
Yes.
Well,
Jesus.
To be honest, I don't think there's going to be any chance of that because like if pigs can do all that,
So how do vegans go?
That's one hell of a CV because all I could do is run a bloody podcast. Can you refine cadmium, Mr. Hoare?
I could give it a shot.
No, I could give you back bacon babes 4.
Does this mean that vegans can't ride the train?
What was there to do with train
brakes?
Train brakes.
Yeah.
I don't know what part of the pigs used for train brakes.
Was it bone?
Wow.
Probably bone.
So the trotters
Yeah,
on either side.
We're squealing.
the noise as well. The refined pig squeal.
And an Australian one, squealing Sheilas.
Fucking hell. Yeah, that squealing you hear is the pigs.
The pigs they slam on each side.
Yeah.
The live pigs.
Still alive.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Well, that's what we're going to do with the pigs then.
Yeah.
Sophie says that vegetarians shouldn't be allowed on trains.
The views of Sophie do not represent the views of See If It Sticks.
What I want to know is why does Lardy Basto think that vegetarians are going to take over the world?
Well, I think
inevitably.
I think probably the case is that vegetarianism is becoming quite popular because of the impact on the world, isn't it? Like,
the world's fucked if we don't go vegetarian.
The world, like the kind of where we obviously over farm and things like that. Like,
the beef in Brazil. If
we don't sort of like even take it from an ethical point of view, in that we consume so much meat that in such large quantities that animals are regularly mistreated. It's not that old timey farm sort of thing anymore, is it? Where you've got a few.
They have to mistreat them to make money.
A few cows in the field, and you raise a cow to slaughter it and use every single piece of it for your dinners for the next 6 months or whatever. Or you're going out to hunt a deer to take home and use every part of it. We go down the shop and
Sorry, that's freaky because I was watching. Have you guys?
You consumed the whole deer at the weekend.
No. Have you guys watched the Hannibal series?
No.
Maybe the first season.
You've watched. So the girl in the first season, her dad's a hunter, and he's talking about using the whole deer. And it's really freaky because that's what he does to all these girls that he kills.
Right.
And I was watching that today.
Have you seen Cowspiracy, Dan?
No.
All right. So, I mean, obviously, a documentary like that has to be taken with a pinch of salt, but they're saying that obviously farming alone of cows, it creates more problems for the ozone than all of transportation.
Well, they say with the methane that they
100-fold.
Well, I believe it's not. It's not.
The farts that come out of cows are worse for the ozone than the stuff that comes out of your car.
What I have actually been led to believe that it's a kind of a popular misconception that it's the methane from cows which is bad for the environment. It's the farming of their food and all their
there's
stuff
the water
around
the amount of water they need just to raise one cow is ridiculous. Like because you have to water the crops to feed the cows, and then you have to water the cows themselves as well.
Yeah,
I mean the watering can. You know,
just such an vision of this farmer just standing up with his cow.
Yeah.
Why won't it grow?
Oh, you grow big and tall now, Bessie, with his watering can.
Obviously,
just chuck some Miracle Grow cow edition in there and have a go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty. You know, with among sort of intelligent people, I think it's undoubtedly, you know, that farming, farming around the world is becoming an issue for the environment.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
And that seems to be the reason that people kind of seem to be tending towards vegetarianism. But you know, I've actually had a conversation recently with Chris Fox, who was on the show, you know, months ago now, about
Chris Fox,
yeah.
Interesting gentleman.
About the whole thing, and yeah, I mean, it's because the culture around meat has changed. You know, like could you slaughter an animal? Like, could you go out and hunt an animal down, slit its throat, butcher it, put it on your table, cook it?
I'd rather eat a salad.
If I had to.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to, but the thing is, like, you've probably never had to do it. Like,
no,
you know,
I have dressed a pheasant that has been shot by my granddad.
I mean,
I've dressed a pheasant.
I always thought that sort of it would be easier than it. Like, we've had like my dad has friends that sort of go hunting, and before because you know my granddad used to make like really good game pies and that. And so over the years there have been several occasions where my dad's mate has gone out hunting, and dad has sort of like, you know, basically put an order in and said, you know, give us whatever you got and we'll get a game pie made. And I come home and there'll be several like pheasant or, you know, rabbit or whatever sitting down my drive. And the first time it happened, like, I remember kind of, and, you know, unfortunately they've all been killed, and you know, there's sort of like a bit of blood dripping down. And I remember coming home and getting a bit fucking freaked out by it.
Really?
Yeah. And then dad was defeathering the damn things, and you know, and he said, yeah, come down and I'll show you.
It's a real faff.
Come down and I'll show you how to defeather a pheasant. And I got hold of it, and I was just like, do you know what? Can't do it.
Do you know what the worst part is doing a pheasant? Is getting the lead out.
Yeah.
It's
been shot, yeah.
It's a regular shotgun, so it's quite a wide burst of pellets.
Normally quite a few in there, isn't
you
there?
have to get them out, and then normally you'll find one in the meat.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get them all out because they're just little tiny.
Normally you can kind of see where they go in, can't you? Because it like puckers the skin once you've got the feathers off.
You ever seen how they prepare a rabbit? They grab it by the ears, cut a little slit in its belly, and go do a flick, and all the insides come out in one go.
Yeah, because with an animal, if you're like sort of gutting an animal, if you hit like the bowel and stuff, it taints the meat.
Ooh,
because obviously,
I didn't think about that.
All the bits.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, all the giblets, all the guts.
Yeah.
It's full of like
humans
poo,
are supposed to eat meat because we've got canines. We're
omnivorous,
supposed to,
though,
but
not in the quantities that.
No,
we
obviously not. If the local town had cows and we grew our own, you know, cows and we killed them and we ate them and it was sustainable, then that's great. But like the way that we eat them,
I'm sorry, I'm just giggling in my head at your terminology of growing our own cows. You know?
There's a bag you get growing your own cow.
Tiny little cows that go in the ground.
Still grow a cow, right? If you're growing it for
you raise
food.
A cow.
Yeah, but
I think
if you're keeping it as a pet, you raise it. If you're
I
growing it for meat,
think when you
raise
associate yourself.
You raise animals for slaughter, but you also you keep a pet.
Yeah, I'm growing a cow. I'm sticking with my terminology. But yeah, like the way we eat now, obviously, like you were saying, so much goes to waste, and they're knocking down fucking acres and acres of shit, aren't they, just to put more farms on, just because the world eats too many fucking hamburgers.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a good way to go about it, is there? Because like, you know, you either need incredible amounts of land in order to sustain the meat consumption of planet Earth, or, you know, the alternative is doing what often places do and have them in really not very nice conditions. Yeah. But, you know, the thing is, the other thing that sort of I think a lot of people don't sort of like take into consideration when they sort of disassociate themselves with the ethics of farming. Like I you know, I did it for years, where I sort of think to myself, well, you know, it's not impacting me, kind of thing. Like it's just they're just, you know, cows.
It's the first time I've ever seen Dom make notes.
No, I'm making notes.
Or chickens or whatever, and you know, I sort of disassociate myself for it. But even if you don't consider the ethical ramifications of that, which these days I do a little bit, the quality of the meat is it suffers. That, you know, you can tell, like, sometimes we have to get meat from, you know, a larger supermarket or whatever,
or even abroad,
and you know, like a chicken breast. Chicken's the prime example. That, you know, if we get a chicken breast from a decent place or a butcher, you get a lovely, delicious, big, juicy chicken breast. Get one from Sainsbury's, and it's a little tiny thing, you know, doesn't really taste like much.
I was doing sound for an event the other day. He was a farmer who raised sheep, and he said that like 60% of the meat in the UK doesn't come from the UK anyway. It comes from Europe.
Yeah, that is also true.
Well, and also I think what it is that, like, the primary issue is that people don't have an understanding of how sort of farming works, because the thing is, it's like
isn't it?
It's like growing crops.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary about these guys that run a sustainable farm, and you know, like, the thing is that if you grow wheat, right, one year, then the next year the soil, because wheat takes on particular nutrients from the soil, it takes all of that out of the soil. So when you farm it, there's very little nutrients that wheat needs in the soil. But, you know, something like, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, say
barley,
barley might take the nutrients which are still in the soil. So the next year you've got to do barley,
and then you leave it to fallow one year, and
so on and so forth. So at certain times of year, when certain crops are available, certain animals will thrive, and certain animals will thrive at different times of the year. So, you know, basically, you know, you're sort of going back to this sort of, you know, the old timey way of, you know, you eat what's in season, you eat what's available to you. But, you know, I suppose in the society that we have today, it's, you know, it's in a packet in a shop. And if you go down and you fancy a bit of steak and asparagus and chips, and you go down the supermarket and you can't get a packet of steak, some asparagus and some chips, you go, fuck you. You know, despite the fact that asparagus season might be, you know,
but that's exactly
9 months time, and you know, exactly the prime time to get a nice bit of beef is in 3 months time. You know, during probably, I suppose, spring. Well, no, I suppose you probably want about, you know, a certain point after spring, don't you? Because you want to raise the cattle for a while.
It's about 2 years, isn't it, Cal?
Yeah, so you know, I suppose it'll be 2 years after spring.
Yeah. But that's the problem with society in general.
It will be spring then.
I try and eat as seasonably as possible.
What we should do is, if Canterbury should only eat the meat that Canterbury can supply, and if it can't supply it, then you eat something else. That's kind of how it should work, but obviously that's not how, like you say, that's not how society works.
That's not how society works.
I want fucking meat. Why is there no fucking meat? You know, so someone will farm it outside of Canterbury, and therefore it grows and grows and grows, and like now it's knocking down all the rainforests, and the rainforests are all fucked because they're making more room for cows.
The lungs of the world, as Sting will remind us.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the problem with it all.
It's true.
Have I told you, boys, that I don't eat beef anymore?
No,
you don't eat beef
I have
anymore.
not eaten beef for a long time.
You're on no red meat at all?
I'm eating chicken basically instead. So if I go to Mackie D's, I have chicken, but
really,
I'm off the beef.
I have to say, over the last year, and this is big for me, I've really cut down on the red meat in my diet.
Yeah,
very much so. A lot of chicken,
Nice.
like Ross, but I don't. I mean, I still have, you know, like something with mince.
It's terrible. I have a little less sympathy for chickens because I think they're really dumb. I have a lot more sympathy for cows and.
See, I quite like chickens.
See, the one big problem with all of this is that these animals will go extinct because they're been bred
overbred. Yeah.
They've been bred to a purpose. Yeah. So you couldn't set Bessie or Porky or Daisy out to the wild. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't.
So the same with that conference I was at the other day with that farmer. He said, like, the modern day cows, he's like, they are grotesque to look at. He's like, because they have been bred to have giant udders that pretty much drag on the ground because they need the most amount of milk out of them. Yeah. And he said they are so fragile. They don't last as long as the old cows, but they produce way more milk as a whole. So he said they all die younger because they've got so much fucking wrong with them, where they've been bred just to
Yeah, for certain.
Well, my hope would be that, like, you know, as much as I disagree also with like some of these, you know, you see a lot of it. Like, as I said earlier on, like I got into an argument with some vegans on Facebook, you know, going back a year, because there's a place in Canterbury called Pork and Co.
Yeah.
That
but that's a sustainable place.
They do pulled pork, but but they raise like they essentially like, you know, raise their own cattle.
They do raise their own pig.
Sorry, not cattle. Yeah. Raise their own swine.
Yeah.
And on that note, I've come up
Thumbs
with a few
notes.
more. I've come up with a few
come
more.
up with porn names.
Here we go.
Fine swine.
Okay.
Lust for crackling. And cloven hooved honeys. And that's me out.
Wow.
Francis Peterson says they would have gone extinct a long time ago if we hadn't been breeding them for thousands of years.
Yeah.
They probably would have, because the stronger animals would have killed them off.
Look at the boar. I mean, like, there's not much wild boar left around in Europe or in the UK especially.
Yeah.
My parents have wild boar around where they live.
Do they?
They're fucking
they charge
dangerous
the cars.
fuck.
Yeah, they
They're
charge up people's
dangerous
cars and
as
dent
fuck.
them. Yeah.
They'll disembowel you.
Oh,
Can
yes.
you hunt them? Or
Sorry?
can you hunt them?
You can do what you fucking want in
Really?
south of France, I think. Yeah, if you want to go and kill one, I think you can.
Be nice.
Boar spear.
Oh, you'd have to kill it with a spear, wouldn't you? Just to look cool.
Well, that's how they used to do it. So they'd have someone
selfie.
They'd have beaters in the bushes, and they'd drive the boar out, and then they'd drive them before. Like, there'd be a bunch of guys with spears, and that's how they do it.
But I mean, the problem is, again, it's one of these things, isn't it? Like, I got in that argument on Facebook because these vegans were in Canterbury were going down and protesting the shop and being very aggressive about it. And, you know, people.
Why don't you do it to McDonald's?
Yeah, because they put the pig in the window.
This is the
That's
thing.
why.
It's because they have the pig in the window.
Yeah.
Like, it's a tiny little shop.
They put a whole pig in the window. They use the pig up throughout the day. When the pig is done, they go home.
That is a sustainable.
And by the way, it is the best pulled pork roll I've ever had in my life. It's delicious.
It is the best.
And but you know, that's the problem. Like, by focusing on people who do it responsibly and do sort of like do it, you know, ethically, like, and you know, campaigning against them, but not like going after the big guys, then you're not sort of getting rid of this, like, you know, this immediate
industrial
thing. You know, my hope would be that, like, at some point over the next couple of decades, that we do go back to a sort of, like, you know, a more sustainable way of farming, and like people should sort of like be educated, you know, because there was never a point at school, you know, where you get told about the food chain and you know, how nutrition works in that in that triangle, which by the way is bollocks.
Well,
like
the food pyramid.
The food pyramid of food,
the wrong way.
Is completely bullshit. Yeah. Not at any point there did anyone say that, you know, like, you know, this is a seasonal time for this. I wouldn't be able to tell you when what vegetables are seasonal when. I have to go down the shop to find out.
Strawberries are very seasonal, aren't they? But you can get them all year round.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they come from Spain and places like that. Yeah, but
I'm actually not too bad with the whole seasonal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm bloody rubbish at it.
Because then you have something to look forward to. Oh, it's fucking strawberry season. We only get strawberries this time of year. Let's have some.
Well, this is the thing. Like, my mum's always been quite into trying to do it at the right time of year and stuff.
Well,
like
the food's better.
And locally sourced.
Well, yeah, because it's better in season because it comes less distance.
The food is better.
So, like, Kentish strawberries in
like
summer.
Asparagus is the example that I always use when I talk about seasonal things, because I love asparagus. And often when Maddie and I cook food, we'll cook it with some asparagus. But, you know, I know when asparagus is seasonal because the asparagus is really lovely and tender.
Do you know where the nearest asparagus farm is?
Thanet?
Yeah, it's you know where the garage is opposite Manston.
Yeah.
Just go behind there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that would be my hope, is that eventually sort of like the education, like, you know, they will have to just do it, and, you know, if things aren't seasonal, you can't get hold of them, then you know, maybe we shouldn't.
I'm not against the farming for me if the animal's treated well and it's done sustainably, like we're saying. If we're not knocking down fucking woods.
For every cow they slaughter, plant another 3.
Plant another 3 cows. Yeah.
Actually, weirdly enough, Gem and I last year tried for a couple of months to do all our shopping from like farm shops and
magazines or something. Yeah.
It was expensive.
Yeah, it would be expensive.
That's the only problem. Yeah, but it was really good quality
But
food.
the thing is,
it
seems expensive, but is it actually expensive for considering what you're getting? Considering you're getting, you know,
the quality
when
of the product,
you think about like, you know, how much you pay, like, because it is it kind of really does show that, like, you know, you go down to the supermarket and you buy yourself a fillet steak.
Yeah.
Right, and you're paying like £5, £6 for a piece of fillet steak, right? How much fillet steak realistically is there on a cow? There ain't a lot of fillet steak on a cow, yeah.
No.
So the few bits you get off of this cow, like, that is a cow. Like, you've killed a cow for these like few little bits of meat, and like there's a large portion of that cow which people aren't interested. You know, it's like on these food TV shows, they always like surprise people by feeding them offal, and people go, "That's delicious." But you know, how many times did you sell? How many people did you times when you worked on a meat department in a supermarket did you sell people offal or shit like that?
Well,
only kidney.
Yeah,
But that was old people.
Yeah.
Very infrequently, right?
But when I worked on a deli counter and I sold a lot of ox tongue.
Yes,
Yeah.
I used to work on a deli counter. You just have to slice
Ox
it.
tongue, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very rich smelling meat.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it myself.
I'm not either,
No,
to be
not a
honest.
fan of
I'm not a big fan of liver
No.
either.
No.
But my mum makes this amazing liver with a bit of like a bit of like pancetta bacon and some onions and stuff like that. She makes it's amazing. It's amazing.
Thing I've always liked was stuffed lamb hearts.
Lamb hearts.
Stuffed.
We ate
Very tough, but very, very rewarding.
Maddie and I went to a Brazilian restaurant in London, and it's one of these like Radizio things where they sort of like you turn your card green to when you want them, and they just pile bits of meat on your plate, and then you put it red when you want to have a break or whatever.
Yeah.
And the guys were just coming over and saying things, and we were obviously in the middle of a conversation and having a couple of drinks and that. And often I wasn't even paying attention to what they were saying, and then before I knew it, I'm eating chicken heart.
Oh, lovely.
Nice. It was nice. Tasted a bit like kind of a lighter tasting sort of like kidney or something.
Well, have you seen the
This has gone full circle. It's like, well, we need to stop people eating all this meat. You know, we need to be able to say, by the way, like a while ago, I didn't even bloody listen to what he said. I just said, give me anything you've got.
They successfully like grew a batch of like lab grown chicken. And apparently it tastes...
There was a meatball, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah,
Did they do? Yeah.
But here's another problem for you, because that would be the next solution, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be to have sort of engineered crops of meat whereby you can grow the meat and don't have to, do anything with an animal. But as soon as you say genetically modified or genetically engineered, people flip their shit.
Everything they eat is genetically modified.
Well, yes, but it is because it's been bred over the years.
Yeah.
So it has been genetically modified
that's exactly
over the
what
years.
genetically modifying is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. But it's not as immediate as this.
But no, you are right.
Yeah, you are completely correct.
Everything we eat is over the years has been genetically modified. It's been
carrots used to be purple.
Been bred to have certain taste and aesthetic qualities.
A few comments.
Go on.
Jamie Scott says, "What exotic meats have you guys tried?" As you mentioned, your chicken's heart.
The very popular one is ostrich, isn't it?
Ostrich is nice.
Most people have a bit
it's
of
a very
ostrich.
lean meat.
Yeah,
I can't say I've tried anything that weird. Maybe crocodile or something. Maybe
I've had gator jerky.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It's
another one of those.
In fact, my grandma used to get some sort of odd meat. She used to go to
questionable meat,
strange places to get
some Labrador
to get her meat. I'm sure that one of the ostrich I remember eating, I'm sure one of the ones that I had down there was a bit of kangaroo.
Yeah, I've had kangaroo,
which is kind of quite sort of like salty, but a bit like beef.
Yeah.
Something
it's another lean meat.
I read something the other day. No, obviously the idea breaks my heart when I see it online is all the dogs in the cages for like the meat festival, the dog meat festival and stuff. But apparently, dog meat was one of the first majorly farmed meats, like by humans. Like it was one of the first meats that we farmed out.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Eat a lot of.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise
but obviously I can't.
They're quite easy to breed.
But there's not quite a lot of meat on it. There's not a lot of meat on a dog, is there? I suppose there's not a lot of meat on chicken, really.
No.
They
just farm enough of them. There's enough meat, isn't there? I guess.
Yeah.
Samwise says, new feature, Dom's exotic meat. To which Jamie Scott says, get that trending. Jamie Scott also says Tesco's got horse burgers.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh god, that was this scandal a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Because people
Findus crispy pancakes for the horse.
People were so incensed because it turned out there were bits of horse meat in there. But the thing is,
quite the delicacy for us.
But what is the difference between eating a horse and eating a cow? For
Nothing.
me,
There isn't, is there?
Yeah,
Nothing. I could
it's
not
because
give a fuck.
It's because a horse is a pet, isn't it? That's the only difference.
So what? I prefer to
such.
have a cow as a pet than a fucking horse.
Yeah, same.
Horse is so highly strung.
yeah, they get those veins popping on the side of their head,
Yeah.
stressed out.
A giant penis.
Carlos Hernandez has made some opinions about the chicken that you find in Tesco's. Apparently, it says it comes from Europe, but it comes from Brazil. It's frozen, injected with water in Holland to increase its size, refrozen, and then sent to the UK. If it's been frozen that many times, then we wouldn't be able to freeze it, right?
Well, do you know?
I thought you could only freeze something once before you get
Well,
yourself really
in fact, I think it depends on the freezing process.
Oh, really?
I believe so. I believe if you flash freeze. God, I was talking about food and I'm talking about flash frying things. I believe if you flash freeze stuff
You can
in the right way, I
refreeze
believe
it
you
a
can
few
pretty
times.
much do it a few times. Yeah, but
Yeah.
don't quote me on that because I believe it's to do with cell degradation.
Yes. Makes you sick as a dog, though, doesn't it? If you refreeze something. I've done that
Maybe
before.
if we have anybody around who is a trained
Cellular biologist.
Yeah, let us know. Any other comments?
But I suppose go back to Jamie's other point. I suppose the most exotic meat that I've ever eaten, even though it comes from sort of a fairly bland animal, was probably the chicken heart, because I never thought I would never go into a restaurant and say, "You got any chicken hearts?" But they were quite delicious.
I've had like a bison burger or something like that. I'm sure I have.
The most dangerous game, the long pig. Man,
What was that from?
No, the long pig is what apparently some cannibals in the South Seas called like human meat.
Yeah, but the quote after that you said was out of something, wasn't it?
What, the most dangerous game?
Yeah, the rarest meat, man, or whatever. I'm
Man,
sure that.
I can't remember what that's from.
It's from Always Sunny, isn't it?
Oh, of course it is. Yeah.
Frank gets all the strange meats.
Yeah.
Dee and Charlie are nicking him, and he makes him like. But actually, it turns out it was just raccoon meat full of parasites.
Well, I suppose if you take into consideration all the times that I've been eating a delicious sandwich at lunch and bitten into my cheek, I've eaten quite a substantial amount of human meat.
Yeah, I did that quite a lot as well.
I did that the other week, and it's still.
I've got one from last week. Yeah.
Maybe we're just too excited.
That's what it is. I get so excited about eating.
Samwise has commented, referring back to the horse meat thing, bigger dick.
Oh my.
Yes.
Well, if that's the kind of meat you like to eat, Sam, then
fair play to you.
Different strokes for different folks, I suppose.
Sam has eaten weirder meat than we have.
Yeah.
I can attest to that. Right.
Well, the problem itself was what we're going to do with pigs.
That was solved early on.
We decided that we need...
And now we're about an hour in.
We need pigs more than anything else in the world because they stop trains.
Pigs. It's not the vegetarians you want to be worried about. It's the pigs.
Yeah. Fuck.
There we go.
So we need pigs.
Shall we name it?
Dare we name it?
Yeah.
But I have decided that I'm going to try going veggie when I get my own place. It's been difficult living in with the in-laws at the moment. So
I try and eat as much vegetarian. Well, Jem tries to get me to eat as much vegetarian meals as possible.
I'll mostly just eat chicken.
It's more of a texture thing for me than it is a taste thing with meat.
See, that's the same.
That's why we have a lot of Quorn.
But that is manky.
Yeah, I like Quorn though. You get used to it.
It's grown in a disgusting vat. Check it out online. Maddie showed me.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go the Quorn route, but I'd...
So you eat hot dogs?
Oh, yes.
There you go, see?
That's all meat and bits of cardboard, baby. All natural.
Recovered.
I like Quorn. Just Quorn's mushroom protein, that's it.
Do you remember those tins of hot dogs, mechanically recovered turkey?
Yes.
60% mechanically recovered turkey.
Mechanically recovered turkey. It kind of puts me in mind of like the robot chicken from Robot Chicken.
Yeah. The problem is for me is that I've grown up in the society we've just been taken to bits, and my problem is that I just really enjoy eating meat. Like
don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
most of the dishes that I know how to make contain meat. We have had a lot more. Maddie and I I mean, a lot more vegetarian stuff recently because we did that. We did the food package thing.
Yeah,
where you get the right
yeah,
amounts of food and stuff like that. And there was a lot of risottos and stuff like that in there, which sort of only contained mushroom or sweet potato and things like that. So we do occasionally have it, but I don't know. Like sometimes I just don't feel satiated unless it's got like a little bit of chicken in it or something.
I think that's
probably
psychological more
it's
than
just
anything.
the way you've been raised, meat and veg, isn't it? It's just,
Yeah.
that's a meal.
That's
Isn't it?
sort of the normality
It's just
of it.
if we'd been raised as vegetarians, we'd think that putting meat with something was weird. That's just how we've been brought up. I mean, 33 years of eating meat and veg.
Yeah, but then we'd also be wearing sandals.
And like a shawl.
I like sandals.
I bloody hate them.
I love a good sandal.
I don't like any type of shoe which exposes any part of my foot, really.
Or my ankle.
I don't like flip-flops. If I go down to the beach, I don't wear flip-flops. I wear an old pair of Vans with no laces in.
Oh dear.
I'm with you, Dan.
Sweaty feet though.
Yeah, then you just jump in the pool with your shoes on and fuck that up for everyone else.
Lovely.
I'm sure you've got a name out of all those names that you had.
Well, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I had one earlier. I said one earlier, and I was like, I could name the podcast that.
Carlos says you should try flaki. It's a Polish dish loved by many, made with cleaned intestines from cows.
Sounds interesting.
See, I'm not against eating things like that.
I like a good haggis.
Sophie also earlier asked if she could guest on the podcast at some point. I'm going to say, due to her opinions,
you got to tone down the opinions.
You'll be fine.
We'd like to keep this podcast going a little bit longer.
Only a little bit.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Actually, where are we in the running order? What episode number is this?
87. I think.
Oh, shit!
Actually, don't address this now because that's an unlucky number to 100.
Huh?
13 episodes till 100.
Oh, right. No,
you've made me say it. It's like saying Macbeth.
Potato. Oh, we'll make amends.
Naming.
The Scottish play. Yes. Oh, fuck me.
No thanks. Fuck my arse. What are we going to call it?
I think Ross he's back to this arse thing again.
It always comes around full circle. Bit like our hole that we dug.
Yes. Should be something about growing cows.
Pig breaks.
Pig breaks.
Pig breaks.
Pig breaks.
Pig break, like big break.
Oh, pig breaks.
Any suggestions, anyone?
Porcine porno. No.
Porkcast. Pigcast.
The Great British Pig Off.
I've got another porno name for you.
What?
Oink Boink.
That's what you call the podcast. Oink Boink.
Oink Boink 4.
Oink Boink 4. Cloven hoof honeys. Oh, fuck.
10-inch trotter.
Oh, dear. Snouts, that's what I call podcasting.
Oh.
Sam says the Great British Bovine Oink Boink. Oh, Dan, how do you feel about the Great British Bake Off's new hosts?
Don't talk to me about it.
That is another podcast.
The
right
first thing,
because I've got a lot to say on it as well.
The first thing I thought when I saw that is like, Danny's going to be mad. I'm excited. Dan's going to be mad.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's leave it for next week. Because that's going to be... Because I've got the news next week, haven't I?
Oh, is that going to be your news?
That'll be my news next week.
Okay.
And then we just have to sit back and listen to him for an hour.
I'll be so random.
Oh, okay.
Don't start him.
Don't start. He's gonna, see, this way as well, we can put him on the boil for this week.
We're going to be ticking over. We want to be able to do the next podcast. I'll kill someone.
I'm not here next week.
Oh, shit. Well, let's talk about it after the podcast. Let's name this thing.
Let's get Noel fucking Fielding on. He's supposed to be a funny guy.
Oh, my God.
It was literally the first thing I thought. Daddy's going to be livid.
Oh, dear. I was trying to think of something to say with agrarian, but I can't think of it now. The genetically modified porkcast.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
The GM Porkcast.
The GM Porkcast.
Yeah.
Do you want to have it genetically modified porkcast or just the GM Porkcast?
GM Pork. Up to you.
I think the GM Porkcast.
GM Porkcast.
Yeah, the GM Porkcast.
Keep it snappy.
Yeah. Done!
Yes. You can find us. stickitpod.com
Or in this room.
or in this room forever. Is our hub for everything you need. All of our social media. You can send us a problem. Please do if you have one. Send it right now. Do not delay. You can send it from your phones rather than going to your major laptops and desktops with your dial-ups. What else is there for people to do? Well, I feel like we've done this 87 times already and I've
YouTube.
forgotten. Yeah. You can watch all the episodes on YouTube.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the... if you're watching on the live stream and you don't subscribe to the podcast, please do. Please go and subscribe to that on your Apple phone, on the podcast app, or on Stitcher.
Or any other podcasting service? Or we're only on Stitcher?
I think we're on quite a lot of them.
podcasts.
Those are the two big ones.
Yeah.
Well, review and rate us.
Yeah, a review would be nice.
Review's always good. Give us a couple of stars or something.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. That's about it, isn't it?
That is about it.
We've said a lot this week. Let's call
It's
it a
been
night.
some heavy going.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a very...
And I need food.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
I'm hungry.
Vegetarian meal when I get home, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Margarita pizza. Killed the tomatoes myself.
You know, the little scream is...
It's not vegan, though, is it?
No,
Cheese.
it's absolutely not
Yeah.
vegan. No, I don't think I could do that.
Are you...
Oh, imagine pizza without cheese. It'd be shit, wouldn't it?
Or some
Yeah.
sort of cheese substitute.
Imagine
Imagine
life without cheese.
anything without cheese on it.
Well, that's my life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except for pizza.
Well, exactly. You still got pizza, so that's fine.
Yeah.
That's this week. I'm Ross.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Dom.
Back down the hole then, boys.
Oh,